Good evening, Truth Tribe. How are you this evening? 6 p.m. in Cyprus tonight. How are you? That's Carmen, by the way. She's my cat. She's not our subject for this evening, though. Okay, let's flip the screen, shall we? Hi, everyone. How are you tonight? Lovely to have you. Is there anyone who's not been in to my scopes before? If so, I'd like to know your name and where it is you're watching from. That would be really cool. Cardiff, Wales. Hey, Cardiff, Wales. Is it Andy? How are you doing tonight? Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining, friends. Samira from Sydney. Samira, I'm coming out to your land down under for Christmas. I can't wait. Really excited to be doing that. So our subject this evening, guys, is the 7 stages, of Ascension. The 7 stages of Ascension. Hey, Kathy. Hey, Kathy Moore, how are you doing tonight? Yeah, for a holiday. Yeah, we're going to do Christmas. Yes. Because my fiance actually lived out there for 9 years, so it's like home to him. So we'll be going back there for the Christmas break. Yes. So thank you ever so much for joining. Ostradamus, that's an interesting name. Are you in which side? Are you talking about Cyprus? If you're talking about Cyprus, it's the south. Yeah. So 7 stages of Ascension, and this is a mystery school teaching. And if you would like to share that, if you would like to follow, swipe your screen from right to left for iPhone, up, down, Android to reveal your share and follow options. If you would like to do that, I would very much appreciate it. So thank you very much. So for those of you who don't know me, welcome Turkey. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Helen Christodoulou. I'm an intuitive mentor and coach. I developed and I am the founder of Fusion 7 Healing, whereby I developed and created these processes. Hi, how are you? Developed these processes to be able to transform my own life, as I was a sufferer of multiple sclerosis. So I dealt with that, and now also I facilitate others and also teach classes and retreats for those who are interested. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you for coming in. Where are you from, girl? I'm from London, England, in truth, in fact, with Greek Cypriot parents, and now I live in southern Cyprus. So that's my origin as far as nationality is concerned. Yeah, Londoner, right? Hey Jill, how you doing, my darling? Do you speak Turkish? Only a little bit and not very appropriately. So the answer would be no, technically. Okay, so we're going to talk about the 7 stages of Ascension. Okay, so are you ready? Are you ready to hear the 7 stages? Yeah? So I don't know what that's for or who's that for, but anyhow, we're going to plod along. So here are the 7 stages of Ascension, yeah? And number 1 is base consciousness. That's fine, everyone's welcome here. The first stage is base consciousness, and base consciousness, by the way, these 7 stages of Ascension, it doesn't necessarily mean that they happen in this order, okay? It's just the 7 different stages that people experience, and I've just put them in this order because typically it would kind of follow this order, but not necessarily, yeah? So it would go like this, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it is going to be this as a rule of thumb, okay? So the first stage of the ascension process is base consciousness, okay? And so base consciousness means that we're dealing with survival, with material needs and material gains. So it's all very much about the physical, all very much about, we can call it superficial as well, but it doesn't necessarily just mean superficial, okay? So that's the first stage, okay? Hey Tina, how are you doing, my darling? That's the first stage of the ascension process. The second stage is, just a second, give me a moment here. Thank you. The second stage of the ascension process is opposing forces. Opposing forces. So what I mean by the second stage is to do with challenges, when we have challenges in our lives, to do with rebellion, to do with fighting for our independence. And fighting for our independence is also the same as, you know, when we first take our first steps as a baby, when we separate from ourselves, from our parents. This is our struggles and our fights towards independence. So, well, if you're not understanding me, my darling, there's nothing really I can do. Maybe you can log out and rewatch, or perhaps watch a broadcast in your own language so that you can understand it. Okay, so it's to do with opposing forces, challenges, rebellion, fighting for independence from our parents, but also from authority, from culture, and perhaps even from our religion. So this is where we start to feel like, you know, the pull and push, in our lives. We start to understand what it means to struggle in a certain way, and we come to an understanding of this through opposing forces. And our third stage of ascension is the stage of trauma. And so we all experience trauma in different ways, many different ways. And some of these traumas can come in the form of cellular memory, patterns and repetitions from relationships where we have been hurt. Perhaps where we've had trauma by being really harsh with ourselves. So we have issues with relationship to self, okay? So we may have trauma from our relationship to ourselves. We may have trauma from relationship to others, okay? We may have trauma from physical diseases or even from injury. Okay, so these are the kind of traumas that we may be experiencing, and this is also a part of the ascension process. The fourth aspect of our ascension process is initiation. Initiation. Hey Lump, how are you doing? Thank you for joining. So with stage 4 of our ascension process, which is initiation, this actually means to remember, or to regroup. Hi, how are you? To retrieve aspects of ourselves. So we're sort of getting information back again. We are seeking for aspects of ourselves that we have lost. We may go on a soul quest, okay, to retrieve our very own soul, or aspects of our soul that we feel is missing. In fact, it isn't, but we feel that it is because we've just forgotten about it. We may go on a quest to find like-minded souls, like-minded groups of people. Hi, Goddess Diaries, how are you? And Alice D, thank you for joining. Thanks very much. And so we may be seeking like-minded souls, perhaps even like-minded locations and like-minded experiences, okay? So that's the fourth step of ascension, and it's all about initiation. Hey Dawn, how are you doing, my darling? Is it your first time into one of my scopes? It's lovely to have you. Where are you watching in from this evening? Well, it's evening for us anyway. Okay, cool. So if you are interested in metaphysics or esoteric truths and wisdoms, then I do invite you to share and follow, and thank you very much for doing that. Hey Kathy, how are you doing this evening? It's your first too, so welcome aboard. I'm really happy to have you and to have you join in this interactive conversation. I'm just discussing here the different levels of the ascension process, but here in the physical, of course. So our fourth one was initiation, and how we like to regroup with self and with others, perhaps with locations and experiences, so that we can be closer to our very own truth that resides deep inside our hearts and our soul. So the fifth aspect, or the stage of our ascension process, Truth Tribe, is the application of coherent actions, okay, coherent actions to create a desired outcome, okay, from a pure ego state. So this is where we apply. You have MS? Okay, so if you want to ask me any questions about that afterwards, or stuff that you've done about it, then you're quite welcome to. For the minute, we're talking about Ascension, but I'm very interested to discuss with you, Kathy, my darling, your situation. So if you hang in there. The path into the light is full of pleasure. Bodiesoflight.net. Thank you, bodiesoflight.net. Yes, it's very true. It is pleasure. But the only thing that I would say about that is to know where the need for that pleasure arises from. I think it's very important to know that, because some people are feeding from pleasure that isn't for their highest good. So we need to have a pretty pure discernment of where it's coming from. Suffering is a lesson, yes it is, but it doesn't have to be. But the dichotomy of that is that we only realise that we don't need to suffer after we've been through the suffering. So there you go, it's just one of those things, yeah. But I do feel that in the very soon future, a lot of us, as we do evolve and as we do ascend in the here and the now, that we will actually realise that we don't need to suffer to such a degree in order to evolve, in order to ascend, in order to better ourselves. It is actually an old school paradigm, in truth, to think or believe that we must or should suffer in order to evolve. Okay, so with Fusion 7 healing, we do learn how to cut corners. But when I say cut corners, I don't mean in a gimmick way. Okay, to come to a higher understanding of how we can work with ourselves, so we can minimize the intensity of suffering as we do evolve and change. Raise your vibration in 13 minutes whilst exercising your light body. Well, I don't know if you can do that in 13 minutes, but I'm sure it's a very valuable and powerful approach. So thanks for sharing that. So transfiguration. So this is where we apply coherent actions to create a desired outcome from a pure ego state, or perhaps for correcting the energetic mutations and interference of our ego itself. So sometimes we realize that our ego state has been corrupted and has been interfered with, perhaps. And so we think, okay, I really want to change this. This in itself is a very, very valuable part of the ascension process, or the evolution process. Okay. So the sixth stage of our ascension process is to transit. Okay, it's the transition. So we've gone into transfiguration, and from the changes we're going into transit. So we're moving from one point of our awareness to another. Okay, if we want to look at it in a linear way, we can say that we're going from a lower consciousness perhaps to a higher vibratory frequency of consciousness. So we transit, and where do we transit from? We transit from a place or state of ignorance, fear or defiance, or resistance, to a higher state of truth. So this is where we are going from to where we are going to. If we look at it in terms of location, we can look at it in terms of location, but we can also look at it in terms of how it is we're feeling and thinking. And we can also look at it as from a place of vibrational frequency, which is the place that I always look at it from. Okay. And so our seventh and final stage, well, there is no final stage in truth, but we've just given like 7 major points. Okay, so our seventh and final stage in terms of these particular 7 stages is the stage of evolution. So what's happened at the 7th stage is, after we've transitioned from ignorance to this higher state. Hi Henley, just logged in. Thank you for joining, my darling. You're catching the kind of tail end, so I invite you to watch on replay on Periscope or catch.me/Fusion7Healing. But you can hang in and just listen to the rest of, if you wish. You're very welcome to that, and thanks for joining. So the 7th aspect of the 7 stages of evolution. Hey Barbara, how you doing? Are you watching in from New York. Is NY for New York? You're very welcome. You're very welcome, Henley. Lovely to have you. So our 7th stage of Ascension, Truth Tribe, is the evolution of consciousness. So that's where we reach, okay? So we've reached a higher state of an evolved mind. We've actually reached a kind of a state of avatar consciousness, or self-mastery, if you will. And what's happening here at the 7th stage is that we are enhancing our super consciousness state. This is what happens when we reach this level, okay? It's a super consciousness state to a frequency of individual, collective and universal consciousness. So when you get to this 7th state of the ascension process, it's not just about you anymore. You do feel in truth that connectivity to everything that is, and everybody and every sentient being, including every planet and every constellation and every, and it just goes on and on. So we feel our connection to it, we understand our connection to it, and yet at the same time we are able to make a higher state discernment of how to deal with being at that high evolved location of consciousness. Because when you are at such a high state, it can be quite a juggling act, because you also need to refine dealing with all the different levels of consciousness that there are. So there's denser vibrational frequencies, you have the middle levels, you have the upper levels, people that are very advanced and people that are babies. It's almost like stages of growth through the human lifetime. It's kind of the same thing. Evolution of consciousness is the same thing. It starts at baby stages and it gets to superconscious maturity. And this, Truth Tribe, can you read this point and not realize it until you are experiencing this? Yeah, thanks for making that point. It's very valid. Because it's all well and good me sort of like banging out these bullet points to you, and what might happen is a couple of things depending on your own stage and level of consciousness. One is that you may not understand it at all and think, oh my goodness, this is just, it's mind-boggling, it's too much. Okay, so that's one thing that can happen. Another thing that can happen is that you can understand it intellectually, okay, but that's about as far as it goes. So you're processing it in your mind, but you are not embodying it into your energetic biomatrix. Okay, and so it doesn't matter whichever state you're at, it's all actually acceptable, it's all okay, because even if you don't understand it, if you're at the real base level, one day you'll come back to these words, or you'll find something similar from another body of wisdom and information and say, wow, you know, I heard that once on this scope and now it makes sense. Yeah, so you know, nothing is ever in vain or ever wasted. Okay, so if you've got to the stage where you're understanding it sort of in your mental field, but that's as far as it goes, that's fine, because what happens there is that you've understood it, but then you question it. Okay, and you're questioning it in a linear fashion, and you're questioning it from your human-based mind and your conditioning and your programming, or your you know, whatever state it is that you may be in, and that's all good. Also, because it will challenge your boundaries at some point and at some level, and at some point and at some level you will be able to transcend that. So that's kind of the academic level, yeah. A smile there from Henley. That's the academic level. And then the next level of that, if you were at a higher level of awareness and you're listening to this scope and listening to these words, perhaps you may get goosebumps, or you might think, yes, bingo, I really feel that. I can feel that in my soul. I can feel that in my heart. That means you're kind of vibrating at a higher level, and it's perhaps matching with a truth that is deep inside of yourself. So in the case of understanding, right, in the case of understanding, there's no good, there's no bad. It doesn't matter if you understand it a little bit, understand it a lot. What does matter is that you are here, that you are listening to it, and that in some way and someday it will be more resonant to you. And of course there are also different kinds of truths, so there's all those variables to take into consideration. But what I always do say is, whatever it is that you listen to, whatever it is that you watch, whether it be here on Periscope or you're doing a blab or any other social media, books, whatever, it doesn't matter. Take what resonates, and just whatever doesn't, just leave it behind. It's that simple. And this is the same thing that I teach in class also, you know. So there may be some things that are absolute truths, and some things are our own perspectives and our own truths. And I just say to the guys that come to retreats and come to classes, you know, just take what works, and what doesn't, throw it away. Your words are wonderful. This makes so much sense. Beautiful, Kathy. Yeah, and it's so important, because we can't be really rigid, you know, because if we're really, really rigid, then it makes things kind of dull, and it will also mean that you might be feeling a level of, hi Christy Animal, how you doing, my darling? You might feel a level of suppression, constriction, and a lack of being able to express your own soul signature. And what I teach and speak about and lecture about and facilitate about is to bring out the juices of your own soul. Hi D Lynch, how are you doing this evening? Thanks for joining. So it's about bringing out the juices in your own soul expression, your own unique way. That's what I like to develop in other people. Lovely, thank you. Sending you lots of love. Thank you, my darling. Sending lots of love back. Don't forget to share, and don't forget to follow if you are not. You are making me feel like I was supposed to see this. I was just feeling these things. Oh, that's wonderful, you know. And that's another reason why you are in this scope, that you are in this Truth Tribe room this evening, because there is a resonance. Thank you, Christina. Well, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing with your own followers or to Twitter. I really do appreciate that, because what we want to do, guys, is we want to get the word out there so we can help people to develop their own soul signature, and not just to develop it, but also to express it. Yeah. And this is why I'm out here. You have an open-mindedness and wisdom. Thank you, Henley. I appreciate that. But we need to, you know, we need to have an open mind, and we need to have an open wisdom. There are some things that I'm sort of very sharing like confetti. That's lovely. So yeah, there's some things that I am sort of very linear about, that I will say, you know what, no, this is the way it is. This is absolute truth. And that's not because it's my perspective, it's because I have studied metaphysics deeply, and there are some truths that are immutable, and I will say it over and over and over again wherever I do speak. And there are you know, people of that come from, you know, new age or spiritual modalities that will disagree with me with that. But it is through the study of metaphysics that we do realise that there are immutable truths, and nothing that I say, think or believe, or you say, think or believe, can ever change that. And those are the things that need to be known, and those are the things that slowly and truly with time I'm getting out there for you. Eyes soft, Eyes of the Seas. What a beautiful name. Thank you for joining Eyes of the Seas. Where are you watching from, and what's your name? So if you just joined in a little while ago, my name's Helen Christodoulou, and you can get more stuff about what I do on fusion7healing.com. You can follow me on Twitter, you can follow me here on Periscope, and you can follow me onto, and all that is at Fusion7Healing. If you like Facebook, if that's your preference, I have a Facebook page. Hey, Jennifer, many blessings to you also, my darling. Thank you for joining. Facebook, my author page, if you want to pop over there and give us a like, it's Helen Christodoulou. It's my name. That's my author page name, where I'll keep you updated with all the happenings that's going on. Thank you, Eleanor. How are you doing, my darling? Are you good? I see you didn't manage to join Blab last night, but we're going to be doing more blabs real soon. So I will be very happy for you to join. Yes, thank you, Christian Amor. Helen Christodoulou is the Facebook page, so if you nip over there and give us a like, that means you'll be connected to all the stuff that I post throughout the day over there, so I'll be really appreciating that. By the way, I've got an announcement that I would like to make. Hey Greg, how you doing, my darling? Thanks so much for joining last night. I just wanted to make a quick announcement. If you didn't watch this morning's scope, then I really do invite you to watch it. I had a moment where I was really quite emotional, and in my mind I wanted to do a runner. I just wanted to turn everything off and just stop. I wanted to stop the scope, you know. But it was all about a message to humanity. Did you watch Eleanor? I didn't notice because I was so I didn't notice, but it was very touching, and it just felt so strong. It just felt so strong at that point, and I really do invite you to watch it. It's called Tuesday's Message to Humanity, and I aired that this morning, and I didn't jump off the ship. I stayed on board, and I fought the tears, even though there were some tears actually. I felt a little bit disorientated and a little bit like a fish out of water. But yes, Tuesday's Message to Humanity. It was the scope just before this one. So if you go to my thank you, Jill. So if you do go to my Periscope page, whatever it's called, you will find it there with the comments. I felt it in my heart and I felt it in my soul, and I wrote it a very long time ago, but I just felt it so powerfully at that time, and I was also kind of shocked that it moved me so much in that moment, and that's why I felt disorientated. I didn't expect to be thrown off. Thank you so much. But I do invite you to watch it, not because of the emotion, but I really would like you to hear the message. Thank you, Jill. Sincere and genuine, and that's what I try to be all of the time, as much as I can, whenever I can. So invite you to listen and to share that message if you can. And the other little announcement that I wanted to make is that my intention is to do a readings and healings on Periscope, but just 3 little ones. They can't go on for too long because of the nature of Periscope. It doesn't actually work that well. So perhaps if we do that in a blab, it may be more appropriate, where we can do a one-to-one. That's fun to be shaken to the quick from the time to time, especially in retrospect. Yeah, it is fun, but it was kind of unexpected, Greg. I didn't know what to do with it. I felt a bit like a little girl, you know, in that moment. I felt like a little kid, and I was like, oh. But it's the message, yeah, it's the message that's really important. And I think also MJ's video that I put on just before that, they don't really care about us. I think that's what really set me off. I started off with the video, They Don't Really Care About Us, by Michael Jackson, and I think that's just what, you know, put everything into a chain reaction of emotion. It was just so powerful for me, and I know it was very powerful for a lot of the other viewers. I'm not apologizing, I'm just explaining how I felt, you know. Just wanted to know behind the scenes how I felt in that moment, and you know, I felt a bit shy. But yeah, so that's that. And as far as little mini readings go, mini reading, mini healing, I'd like to demo that. I'd really like to demo that, either in a scope or in a blab. So if you're interested in that, then yeah, just explaining. So if you are interested in that, then please PM me on one of my social media spots, okay, either on Twitter or on Facebook, and we can do that. How long you started? This particular scope, we're wrapping it up, yeah, it's the end. Greg, are you doing one after this? Are you scoping this evening, my love? If you do, I'd just like to share it with everyone who's on board here right now. Follow Greg, guys, the masked man. He's wonderful. And I hope to be doing a blab with Greg real soon. Yes, it's been a bit. We must watch replay. Yes, it has been a bit. I started just around 6 on the hour, on the previous hour that just passed. Yeah. Okay. So that's all from me, friends. Is there anything that you wanted to yeah, always follow Greg. Yeah, absolutely. And always follow Talk New York as well. Why not? Didn't get my notification. Oh, never mind, for the next one. So okay, cool. Give me a notification. PM me, Greg, when that's going to be, so we can see. Because is it the same time when you said, was it 4 PM Eastern? Eastern? Is that right, Greg? Quick recap. The recap for today, friends, is the 7 stages of Ascension. So if you play back, you'll be able to listen to those. And I just wanted to add, so what is the point of understanding the 7 stages of Ascension? Well, the reason is because we're just all trying to improve. That's it. We're all trying to improve. So if we understand the 7 stages of the way we process our improvements, then we can go about it in a more efficient way. So this is why this evening's scope mystery school teachings was about the 7 stages of Ascension and what that actually means. So go ahead, replay, share. You can heart it up on your replay. Apparently they do actually count. So I'll appreciate those even if you go on replay. Catch doesn't do the hearties, but it doesn't matter. Whatever it is you do, I honour it and appreciate it. So from me, my darling Truth Tribe, Imaste, it means we are, okay? We are. We are members of truth. We all love you so much, Helen, such a guiding light. I love you too, Greg, with all my heart. And you, Jill, and everyone else that's on. Elena, Christiana, I can't remember everybody, but thank you so, so much. Love you loads. And I feel so empowered and lifted to do this with you. Show me your new shower. We just had a new shower put in our garden. Do you want to see it before I finish? Shall I show you my new shower? We just had this lovely new water feature put in our garden. So I'll show it to you real quick. It's not quite finished yet, but I'll show you. Okay, here it is. There it is. Can you see it? It's not quite finished yet. Oh, it's a bit dark. So it's all made out of stone. I'm opposite the sun, so it's gone dark. I'll have to go round the other way. That's a bit better. Can you see? It's all made out of big pebbles that are from the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, so it's from our sea. Okay, that's it. Right, that's better. We've got a better view of it there. Here we are. It's not quite finished. We just got to varnish it. It's going to be slightly more shiny. And there's the shower head up there. So we're just finishing off. So that's our little water feature, the shower for the garden. Okay, so my darlings, thank you very much for joining me this evening. Love you loads. Keep me in the loop. When you say shower, you mean like waterfall? No, it's just a nice shower head. Nothing too dramatic or anything. There it is. You can see that behind me. There it is. It's not quite finished. It's all gone up today, getting varnished tomorrow. Anyhow, so thank you. Thank you for joining, my lovelies. Do take care of yourselves, and I will scope with you tomorrow morning, my regular time, which is about 9 AM Eastern European. Lots of love to you. May truth always be the guiding force behind everything it is that you say, do, think and feel. Lots of love. Peace out. Ciao.